Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a powerful and wise king named Virat. His kingdom was rich, peaceful, and beautiful. People loved him because he was just and kind. But despite all this, King Virat was not happy. There was one thing that always troubled him: he could not trust anyone. Over the years, many people had lied to him: his ministers, soldiers, even people he once called friends. Because of this, the king had become doubtful of everyone. He believed that no one in the kingdom was truly honest. His heart was filled with sadness, and though he had everything, he felt alone. One night, the king had a strange dream. In the dream, an old man with a long white beard appeared and said, "Your kingdom will only shine when you find one person who is truly honest." The dream felt real and powerful. When the king woke up the next morning, he could still hear the old man's words echoing in his mind. The dream stayed in his thoughts all day. He decided to take action. He called a meeting in the royal court and made an announcement to the people of the kingdom. "I want to find one honest person in this land," said King Virat. "That person will be rewarded with gold, land, and a position beside me in the royal court." Everyone was surprised and excited. Some thought it would be an easy way to earn rewards. The king then explained the challenge. He said, "Each of you will receive a seed and a pot. Take it home, plant the seed, take care of it, and return after 30 days with the plant that grows from it. The person with the healthiest, most beautiful plant will be the winner." The people lined up to receive their seed and pot. But what they didn't know was this: the king had secretly boiled the seeds. Boiling made them impossible to grow. The test was not about growing a plant, it was about honesty. Everyone took their pots home and planted the seed. Days passed, weeks passed, but the seeds didn't grow. People started to worry. Some waited and waited, but nothing happened. Slowly, many of them decided to replace the seed with another seed, one that could grow. They didn't want to return with an empty pot and look foolish in front of the king. So they planted different seeds, watered them, and watched flowers bloom. But in one small house lived a boy named Arav. He was around 12 years old and came from a poor family. Arav was honest, kind, and hardworking. He planted the seed he received, watered it every day, and gave it sunlight. But nothing grew. He became sad. "Why is my plant not growing?" he asked his mother. His mother smiled gently and said, "Maybe the seed is not good, but remember, Arav, always be honest. Sometimes the right path is hard, but it brings peace." Arav listened to his mother's words. Even though the pot remained empty, he continued to take care of it. He didn't change the seed. He believed that the test was not just about plants, it was about truth. Finally, the 30 days were over. People from all over the kingdom gathered in the palace garden with their pots. Some had beautiful flowers. Some had tall green plants. All looked proud and confident. Arav walked in slowly with his empty pot. People stared at him. Some laughed. "Did he forget to plant the seed?" Someone whispered. "Maybe he's lazy or foolish," another person said. Arav felt embarrassed, but he kept walking. He remembered his mother's words and stayed calm. The king entered the garden and started looking at the pots one by one. He nodded as he passed by colorful flowers and lush plants, but his face showed no sign of happiness. Then he stopped in front of Arav. He looked at the empty pot, then looked at the boy. "What is your name?" the king asked. "Arav, your majesty," the boy replied. "Why is your pot empty, Arav?" Arav looked down and said, "Your majesty, I planted the seed you gave me. I watered it every day and gave it sunlight, but it didn't grow. I didn't know what I was doing wrong, but I didn't want to cheat. So I brought you what I had, an empty pot." There was silence in the garden. Everyone was watching. Then the king turned to the crowd and raised his hand. "Everyone listen carefully," he said. "I gave you all boiled seeds. They were not meant to grow. It was a test, not of farming, but of honesty." He paused and looked around. "Most of you replaced the seed. You chose to lie to win a reward. But only one boy had the courage to stay truthful, even when it made him look like a failure." The crowd gasped. Many looked down, ashamed. The king smiled and turned back to Arav. Arav, he said, you are the only truly honest person in this kingdom, and for that I will honor you. He took off his royal cloak and placed it over Arav's shoulders. He gave him gold and land and declared him a royal advisor in the palace. Arav's eyes filled with tears. He never thought that staying honest would bring him so much. The people cheered not just for Arav, but for the lesson they had learned that day. From that day forward, the kingdom began to change. Inspired by Arav's honesty, the people started to value truth more than trickery. The king too changed. He became more open-hearted and he trusted people again, but only those who proved their honesty through actions. Arav stayed by the king's side, helping him make fair and just decisions. He became a symbol of truth, and his story was told to children across the kingdom. Even years later, people remembered the boy who brought an empty pot to the palace and won the king's heart. Moral of the story: being honest may not always give you quick success or praise. Sometimes honesty makes you look like you failed, but in the end, truth always wins. Honesty builds trust, respect, and peace, things more valuable than gold. And that, dear friends, is the story of how one honest boy changed an entire kingdom. In life, you may face situations where being honest feels difficult, but always remember, honesty might not give quick rewards, but it brings something even greater: trust, peace, and true respect. So tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were given that seed? Share your thoughts below. We'd love to hear your answer. If you enjoyed this story and learned something new today, give it a big like. Share it with someone who needs a little honesty in their life. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring and powerful stories like this one. Thanks for watching. Stay hones.